Back in 1989, a rock music magazine in the name of Riff Raff was formed by Mark Crampton. 2 decades later, Mark is back on the scene with a new idea, a new e-zine. So, Rock iKON is being designed as an e-zine. What does that involve?
A website, basically. Yeah. It's quite easy to do a website compared to doing a printed magazine. Less involvement, really. The way websites work, basically, you just have to have various integrated elements, really, and the content has to be quite simple. You can't make it too complicated. So, I mean, I think all I've got at the moment, the way I've started doing things, is basically having DVD reviews, product reviews, basically. DVD reviews, album reviews. In terms of the albums, obviously there's a link besides Amazon, there's a link to iTunes, so they can actually download the album, so they can actually go and buy the physical product, or they can download it.
Creating a new magazine, or rather an e-zine. What do you think of this?
It'll be interesting to see, you know. I think, you know, most is all into it's rock, so having an e-zine, people can log on anywhere in the world, you know. There are new media, isn't there, you know, because everyone's got YouTube now, you put your links onto all that. What you can actually say about Deep Purple has been said the last 40 years, I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see what he comes out with. Yeah, I'd like to see him do more on up-and-coming music and try and break new artists, you know. Aerosmith are not going to tour forever, you know, we do need to keep the momentum going there.
As a potential reader, what do you think of this?
Well, I would be hoping to write for it as well, but as somebody who might read it, check it on the website, I would hope it would actually kind of be quirky and fresh, no matter where it was going out to. And obviously the people that would be reading it, you would hope there would be sort of maybe different language versions of it, you know, in the main languages, i.e. Spanish or whatever. But I would just hope it would be sort of insightful, irreverent, but also informative, and give people a lot of information, but have a sense of humour, have a little bit of insight and humour and something a bit irreverent, because without that, reading about music can be pretty boring.
If you were to buy Rock iKON as a published magazine, or even view it over the internet, what would you like to see that maybe you do not see in other existing magazines?
Well, it's quite a difficult one, because all magazines sort of, you know, cover every aspect of music industry. But a big thing these days is the unsigned act. You know, you want to have, you know, sort of find out who's the next big thing, you know, what's going to happen and when it's going to happen.
Do you buy any music magazines that are currently out on the shelves? If so, which ones?
I used to buy Q, but I think that's really sold out. I'm not a regular buyer of any rock magazines now. I think it used to be a lot better when they had the weekly magazines back in the 80s. You had Sounds, Melody Maker, NME, and I think there was a bit more buzz about sort of like rock publications back then.
As interesting as this all was, I wanted to really find out what the drive behind Riff Raff was, and why Mark and the people involved formed it.
Well, actually, the main idea behind doing the magazine was basically so we could take time and go to lots of gigs and get lots of free tickets, and lig, basically, and interview all our heroes face to face and shake their hands, and that's the best thing, really. I wanted to do the magazine because I had worked for quite a variety of other magazines, and had always felt inhibited that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So yeah, it was nice to be in charge, really, and to decide what sort of bands I could put in there, and generally just be my own boss, basically.
You worked for Riff Raff for a period of time. What did you do for the magazine?
Well, I worked for them from the beginning through to the bitter end, but I basically we started off with a small crew. Obviously Mark started the magazine up, and we ran it from the office, which was in his flat in Islington at the time. And I was probably certainly at the beginning, like the editor's assistant, editorial assistant, and one of the main writers, interviewers, if you like. And we also help to sort of edit other people's stuff, do the interviews, deal with the PR people, the record companies, the press, and just generally a bit of everything, really.
Although Mark was the founder of Riff Raff, I wanted to know what his main contribution to the magazine was.
My role was really editor, but I like to think of it as a creative director, really. My background was in design anyway, so I always thought of myself as a marketing type of guru as such. But yeah, I basically created the whole thing and had a vision in my head.
I did a telephone interview with Colin Liddell, currently the writer of the Tokyo Times in Japan. I was interested in finding out his point of view of rock icon as he played a main part in the Riff Raff magazine. Hello, is this Colin?
Yes, speaking. Is that Dan?
Yeah, that's Dan calling, yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, so, I was the Fly,
Yeah.
and, that was a specific column in the magazine. So the Audible humour page,
Yeah.
so to break the kind of repetitive format of interviews, live coverage, and posters and stuff like that, which can be a bit tedious. So to sort of provide a bit of humour and variety, I guess.
Yeah.
For Riff Raff, I was mainly meant to be reviewing CDs and videos, which was kind of like a new media back then. But I ended up doing a lot of admin. You go into the office to give in your work, because you couldn't email them. And yeah, you'd end up doing a lot of proofreading and checking spell, editing and cutting stuff down. So yeah, I was in the office most of the time, and now and again I got out to review the odd gig or two.
I asked Mark what he would do differently now as opposed to what he did back then.
What would I change if I was doing it now? Or if you put me back in a time machine? If you put me back in a time machine back to 1989, what would I do? Knowing what I know now, probably I'd change things quite a bit actually. I think I wouldn't pander so much to the record companies. And I'd have more serious classic rock artists in there.
Okay, I'm sure you're aware of the similar existing products on the shelves at the moment, such as Enemy, Rolling Stone, Classic Rock, etc.
Yeah.
Is there something that you would like to see in Rock Icon besides what you've just said that isn't present in other magazines? Certain things.
Well, the others are magazines, as you say. Rock Icon is an online e-zine, so they have a whole new scope. They have a different wavelength completely. They can put a lot of interviews on, such as this, if they wanted to, where magazines can't. I mean, again, there's two sides to that, because a magazine you can read on the plane. E-zines you're watching the comfort of your home. So, but yeah, I mean, it opens up whole new borders.
I've enjoyed my journey through finding out about this magazine, meeting up with different people and finding a common ground. I'm excited to see Mark's progress expanding into the areas he hopes to. As a huge fan of rock music myself, personally, I cannot wait to become a fan of Rock Icon.
Okay, personally for you, what has given you the drive to start up another rock magazine?
Well, the same drive as before really. I think I would like to do something fresh again. It's the music more than anything else. The medium might have changed over the years, but the music hasn't. It's still rock and roll, and we like it.